Hello and hello and welcome to round 3 of the W12 Sprint Series. It's another beautiful Monday evening, and we've got some exciting racing action ahead of us. My name is Kevin, and with me in the commentator booth tonight is once again beautiful Dan. That's right.
Good evening. First of all, how are you?
Very, very well. I hope my voice isn't too bad tonight. I feel like a little bit coming up. It's been a cold few days. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for tonight. We've got, I think, a very good first race to look ahead to. Where are we then, and what are we driving?
Well, you might have seen it already. We are driving TCRs at the Sandown International Motor Raceway. A track length of 3.13 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles. Excuse me about that. I also don't know what it is in feet. I know it has an altitude of 47 meters. And the track temperature at the moment, 47 degrees. Located in Australia, in Springsvale at the moment here in Australia. I don't think it's going to move anywhere, but yeah, I don't know why I said at the moment. Ambient temperature, 19 degrees, the humidity of 55%. That's actually not too high, actually. It's partly cloudy, not too much wind, 3 kilometers an hour. That's not too much at all.
Yeah, it's a pretty calm day in Australia at the moment. Not as calm is hopefully the action on the racetrack, where we are changing to right about now. We've got a good field again tonight. I see 23 drivers at the moment. In my SDK file, a couple of guys we have seen before and a couple of guys we haven't seen before. Like, for instance, the man we are looking at right now, Niels Langeveld from the GasX Racing team. And Dan has got a really cool anecdote about the Niels and the TCRs. Can you repeat that again?
Yes, I do. Niels is a really good friend of mine. I know him well, I first got to know him in Platinum Racing League in the TCR series there. And ever since we've been in contact, he's driving MX5 as well, MX5 Cup. But yeah, this man has become, over the last few months, he won the Italian Touring Car Championship. So the Italian TCR Championship he won, which was a very competitive field. He won it on the last race, if I'm correct with that. Yes, I am. I'm pretty sure about that, but he won it on the last race. But yeah, I think it's about time that we go down to the track where we are right now. Sandown, what a track that is, like you said. A track that, well, not a lot of people know, but yeah, it's a good track if you maybe want some close racing with TCRs, Formula 4s. It's definitely not a track where you want to go to with Formula 1s, because it's way too tight, this track. But yeah, this is a nice section down the hill. Left, right, left, and then another left-hander coming up. I had a broadcast here where I said nothing can happen to the driver, and then he absolutely smashed it into the wall at that corner. So terrible PTSD there. But I think it's about time that Kevin is going to take us around the track.
Yeah, so we're on board with Niels Langeveld. Now on the start-finish straight of Sandown, 3.15 kilometers. It's a bit less than half of the length of Spa-Francorchamps, which is 7 kilometers, so a bit shorter than that, I'd say. So we're coming down to T1, pretty much 90-degree left-hander, very slow, going here through this first corner. Will be interesting to see in the race. Now corners 2 and 3, a tight chicane, and coming up to the walls. Now we're going through again left 90-degree turn 4. Now ahead we see what is called turn 5, but as you can see is not really a turn, just going flat out through there. And now we've got a very long straight. We will definitely be seeing, I guess, a bit of a slipstream action going down there. Now turn 6, very fast for this section, left-hander, and then into another chicane, turn 7 and turn 8, and again a very tight 90-degree left-hander with turn 9. Turn 10, again, one of those not really a turns. And again, a short straight coming down to turns 11 and 12, another tight chicane. So we see kind of the characteristic of this track before coming down to turn 13, again flat out and back onto the start-finish straight.
Well, what a lap that was, and we'll stay on board a little bit longer here with Niels Langeveld, just to point out some things about this track, as we have 2 minutes spare left here in this practice session. Like I said, Niels knows these cars in and out. What I do know about Niels is that he usually does have some trouble to find his way in these TCR cars in iRacing. He's quick in real life. I mean, I don't have to tell that anyone that, because he's won the TCR Italy Championship. But the way you drive these TCR cars in iRacing is a lot different than you actually do in real life, and he does take his time to get the grips with that. He had that last season. Here we go downhill, left, right, left, and then there's a little left-hander. It looks a lot less twisty, that section on board, doesn't it, Kev?
Yeah, but I think it's going to be now. I mean, now Niels is all on his own, more or less, just a couple of cars ahead of him. But in the race, I think those sections will become very, very tight and very, very twisty when they have to like dodge their competitors as well. But I mean, Niels is still doing a very good job. He's not too far off the top. 1:16.9 for Niels there, and P1 Florian Becker is at the moment just only at a 1:15.9. So he's just what, 2/10 behind the top. So very, very close field we've got there at the moment. Like the top 7 just 2/10 apart. P8 is also just 3/10 away from P1, and then we've got a little bit of a bigger gap to P9, to Benjamin Moser, who is on a 1:16.5, so 6/10 already behind the first place. So the top 8, a very, very close fight that should be brewing there, and that we can look forward to.
Well, big news though is that one man who's always been on top of the standings, usually in almost every class, doesn't matter what he drives, is not here with us this evening. Mirko Bortolotti, he is currently out in Portugal testing on, I think it's Portimao, if I'm correct with that. I think I am. But he would have been here with us this evening, although he's out chatting with the boys right now.
Yeah, always with his team.
Yeah.
When he's not racing himself, that's how invested he is in all of this racing here at the W12 Sprint Series. As we switch over into the qualifying session, the lone qualifying session, we're just waiting for the first cars to get out of the pit lane. Hugo Sasse in the Audi. Thing to add, a thing that we might add as well, the Audi being the very popular choice tonight. Got a couple of Hondas, got a couple of Hyundais, but most of the drivers are sitting in the Audi, and we will see if that is a good choice. I think in the TCR class, the Hyundai is the car to beat, or the Hyundais. There are 2 of them, of course. But the TCRs also have a BOP, balance of performance, to even the playing field. So let's hope that not one car is too dominant today, as the entry sheet might suggest at the moment.
Yeah, well, a lot of Audis and Hyundais out there. 3 Hondas, and those are basically the only cars you can choose from. But a lot of new Hyundais out, not the old ones. I think Niels is in the new one. Yeah, he is. He definitely is in the new Hyundai. Of course, he's used to driving that car. If I was correct, the man in first, though, where is he? This man is driving the old one. Ben Hitz. Look at that. It's a completely No, never mind. That's not a different car. Of course, the cars you can choose from are as follows. If I quickly take a look, there are different cars. It's the Hyundai Elantra and the Hyundai Veloster. The Hyundai Veloster, the Hyundai Elantra, the Honda Civic Type R, and the Audi RS3 LMS.
Well, I've definitely got my favorite out of all these cars, which is always the Honda. I'm just that I love my Japanese cars.
Yeah, but it sounds so great as well. Across the line for Niels Langeveld to start his first flying lap. And he was purple in the middle sector this time round on his out lap. So what can he do on his quick lap? Looking to not take an off track, because you only have one go here, not more.
Yes, you only have one go. What I can see, Florian Becker has just posted the fastest middle sector. Jonas Wanner has got the fastest first sector. And Jonas Wanner is now at the moment on top with a 1:16.697. Thomas Pieber adds to this. Yeah, now the times are starting to pour in. Pieber had the fastest final sector, but couldn't quite make it in the other two. Let's see the drivers coming in. One I'm waiting for as well is Florian Becker, who's been fast as well in the practice session. He's only in fourth, so couldn't quite lost a lot of time in the third sector.
A lot of time
we
lost.
Can see the times now pouring in. The field is a bit further apart than it was in the practice session. Let's see where Niels Langeveld can put his Hyundai. He
P9.
only gets P9, 7/10 away from our pole sitter at the moment. Jonas Wanner still got a couple of cars out on track. Hendrik Augustin, who is also always one of the faster drivers in our field. He's sitting in the Audi RS3. Let's see, he's coming through to the final corners. And now up to the start-finish line. Let's see where he can put his Audi.
Oh, up into P2. That is real close. Only 200 of a second behind Jonas Wanner. 21,000 of a second.
He's
that
done
is.
Brilliantly. But you gotta say, only green sectors for him, so he didn't get one sector the fastest, but everywhere else. But he's been very close everywhere else. So that what gets him P2 with just 200ths of a second behind Jonas Wanner. So that could be a very good fight. Maybe for the feature race, because of course, as we know, in the heats, they will now be divided into the pole sitters for Heat 1 and Heat 2.
Well, you don't actually have to go purple anywhere to take pole position. You just need to be faster than the guy ahead in one sector and not too much slower than him in all the others. And if the guy in P5 is the fastest in the middle sector by 5/10 and you are quicker than the man in pole position by 4/10, your sector is not purple, but you're 4/10 quicker than the man in pole position. If you don't lose 2/10 in the first and last sector, you're ahead of him. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, of course. It's true. It's true. Then we can now look at the grid for the first heat race. So it's Jonas Wanner with a 1:16.697 ahead of Hugo Sasse. In third, Christoph Fabigan ahead of Marius Zug, Martin Stadtmann in P5, Bastian Perez in P6, Pascal Haas in P7 ahead of Stefano Pellegrino in P8, Christian Meyer sits in P9 ahead of Jens Fiedler in P10, Marco Zeller P11, Stefan Capella P12, and that's the grid for our first heat race. We will be very excited to see what the drivers can achieve in this heat race. Of course, standing start with the TCRs. Let's see.
Oh, jump start at the back of the grid! Jump start at the back of the grid for Marco Zeller. Yeah, on the left hand side of the screen you can see the jump start. And that is gonna hamper him.
Be a drive-through.
Yeah, and I think he's not gonna recover from that.
Start from Jonas Wanner, by the way. Already a second ahead of the field. What has he done? That was an absolute brilliant start there by Wanner. I hope he didn't jump the lights as well, because he's already 2.5 seconds ahead, almost 3 seconds. What?
Oh, crash in the background. Stefano Pellegrino around. Oh, comes back on track.
I think he thought that he was the last driver, but I think the Hyundai, yeah, it didn't happen. Luckily, it didn't happen anything bad there, but you now see the field coming through. I think that must be now coming up to the final chicane there in a second. We've got at the moment looking at Hugo Sasse in P4, who is being followed very tightly by Marius Zug in P5.
Into the pits, there we go.
Going into the pit lane.
We're gonna take a look back though at the green flag. Look at that, a jump start there, and further back as well.
By Zug. So that was a jump start by Marius Zug as well. That's why he went into the pit lane. I was wondering already. But look at that start there by Stefano Pellegrino.
Immediately up 3 into the first corner.
Going very wide there through the first corner.
Oh, SDK didn't like that.
It's again acting up.
Yeah, of course it is.
So, since you're steering it, are we live at the moment, or is this still a replay?
We are live.
We are live, alright. So, I hope it's not acting up on my screen as well. So we are looking right now at, once again, Hugo Sasse, who is now, oh look, an overtake behind him. That was Margot Zeiler going past Christian Meyer in the Hyundai. And that is a very tight field there. So there's Zeiler, Meyer, Bastien Perez and Pascal Haas all fighting for that P5 position at the moment. Zeiler, can he get away? Did he already serve? Was he the one who jumped the start?
No, I think that was Marius Zug.
So only Zug.
And Stefan Capella.
And Stefan Capella was the ASR. Okay, so those two guys who have already been in the pit lane. Yes, Stefan Capella and Marius Zug. And there is our leader, Jonas Wanner, who is just absolutely flying at the moment. What can you say about that? It's just, how long has it been, this race? Maybe 2 minutes, I think, at the moment, or a bit more. No, 3 minutes and a bit, and he's already 4 seconds ahead of P2. So this man is absolutely flying at the moment. And just racing away from the pack as we go down back into turn 1. Ooh, he's had a bit of a moment there. I think the rear has come up a bit, has come loose a bit, and not. But with those front wheel drive cars, you can just plant the power down and just pull yourself out of it. Wanner, of course, in one of the rare Hondas, which is I'm very happy about. Oh, we've got a little bit of a fight going on here.
Oh, big battle, a touch!
Perez and Fabigan. There was a touch there, but everything has worked out in the end, I think. Now we've got 1 minute 15 seconds left. I think now everything should be back up to normal with the SDK. Yeah, that is looking good, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
Look at that fight for P4. It's Fabigan, Perez, Haas, Zeiler, and I'd say, yeah, those 4 are probably closest in the fight for P4. Look at that, going through the final chicane there, coming up to the start-finish straight. Perez has got a good run, I think, there as the flagman waves the white flags. We're up into the final lap of the race. Look how many cars still in with a shot for this P4 position. Perez has gone to the inside. and has maybe tried it. Fabian going very wide there. All of the drivers going very wide there. I don't know if you can go that far out. But I'm not quite that up to date with the track limits on Sandown, to be honest. As the people are still fighting for every position here in the field at the moment. We're looking at Christian Meyer. Now we're back with the leader, Jonas Wanner, who is about to finish this first race. Now maybe the attack by Perez against Fabian. Can he do it around the outside through the chicane? Pushes Fabian off a bit. He's coming back on the circuit, and now they're both off. They're both off the track there. And that's their race finished, but Jonas Wanner finishes his race as well, 5 seconds ahead of P2. Unbelievable stuff there by Jonas Wanner. That has been quite the showing off performance, and now he's wrecked his engine just for good measure at the end of the race and parked it at the escape route. So good job there by Jonas Wanner. People are coming into over the finishing line. That's what I want to say. Martin Stadtmann is in P2, Hugo Sasek is in P3. Marco Zeiler finishes in P4, Pascal Haas in P5, Christian Meyer in P6, Jens Fiedler in P7, Christoph Fabian and Bastian Perez, the two drivers who crashed out at one of the final turns. I think it was turn 9. Are in P8 and P9. Stefano Pellegrino, Stefan Capella, and Marius Zug come home in P10, P11, and P12. As we can see. Still waiting on a car to finish. Yeah, it was, I think, another ASR car who had to finish the race there. And now we have switched over into heat number 2.
Here we go, the result. The result is out on screen for you at the moment. Jonas Wanner in P1, Martin Stadtmann P2, Hugo Sass P3, Marco Zeiler P4, P5, Pascal Haas, Christian Meyer P6, Jens Fiedler P7, Christoph Fabian in P8, P9, Bastian Perez. But we don't have actually time to look at that because the race is already starting. Here we go. Green flag. Green flag. There we go, the race is underway. Thomas Pieber started the race from pole position, or no, he didn't. Ben Hitz in third, but Henrik Augustin already down 2 positions. The man who started in pole position now actually down 5, 6 positions. And a big hit there from Henrik Augustin in this round.
And he hits a third car there. So that has been a big one.
Big one.
Always see another car on driving the wrong side. Or standing the wrong side route, Markus Deutsch there. Oh, that Civic doesn't look great from behind.
Here we go then for the lead.
The field.
Thomas Pieber having to defend from Ben Hitz. Down the inside he goes in the Hyundai. Can he make that move stick? Yes, he can. A little bit further back though. Niels Langeveld trying to... Oh, that's a bit far off. This is the battle I wanted to look at. Benjamin Moser together with Thomas Pieber. And Florian Becker. Florian Becker now behind Benjamin Moser. Can he make that move? Coming on to the start-finish straight is the question. He gets a good drive out of the corner. Can he now keep that drive up? Down the inside he goes. Alongside he is. And actually ahead before they get to the first corner. And he has made that move stick. Made that move. Made that pass. And he's finally up to P3 now. Now his next target ahead of him is Thomas Pieber, who has just lost the lead to Ben Hitz. A little bit further back though, Benjamin Moses. Still this battle going on, trying to jump down the inside. Oh, Florian Becker not quite able to do so. And he did hit that curb quite hard, didn't he?
That didn't look good. Suspension will be hurting a bit from there. As we look at Matthias Lebelt, who is fighting for P7, Patrick Henn ahead of him. A lot of Audis again as well as in this field, but the Hondas, well, one Honda, not actually doing quite so bad. So P4, Honda won the first heat and is in P4 in the second heat as well. So not a bad car choice, it seems like.
No, the Hyundai is quick, especially the new one, the Elantra. It's the car that Niels Langeveld is used to. Niels Langeveld at the moment in P5 ahead of Florian Stadtmann. Florian Becker. We also have, I think, another Stadtmann.
Yeah, Martin.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of things to get confused with here, but yeah, Florian Stadtmann in P6 at the moment. We're looking at him right now in the Hot Wheels livery car. Have to say, do like that car.
Hot Wheels Hyundai. Also very nice profile picture he's chosen there for his SDK account. Now we're looking at our leader, Ed Ben Hitz, who is maybe got past Thomas Pieper, but hasn't been able to shake him off very well. Pieper just 2/10 behind Ben Hitz. Of course, on this long straight, he's got a bit of slipstream, and he might be able to, you know, use that to his advantage. And not now coming through, fast left-hander and the chicane. Another slow left-hander there. And look how close Thomas now is to Ben Hitz. So we might be able to do another overtaking maneuver there. Matthias Lebelt has just been overtaken, I think, by Florian, or yeah, should have was just overtaken there.
Patrick Hen overtook him.
By Patrick Hen, I'm sorry, of course. Very nice move there up the inside through the fast left-hander. He's done a great job there, and now he's managing to pull away a bit from Matthias Lebelt.
I don't know exactly how many positions you can gain, as you can see on the left-hand side. It says 109 positions gained for Thomas Pieper, so he has come from a long way back.
Maybe it's the iRacing gain, not the iRating gain, I'm sorry, and probably not the position gain. 109 positions does seem a bit odd. As we are looking at this now, Matthias has to defend his position from Hendrik Augustin, who has been a victim of that turn 1 incident. So he should probably pace-wise be further up the field, but he can't seem to make that move stick at the moment. As Thomas Pieper is now fighting for P1 and now is losing P2 as a result of it. Ben Hitz
white flag
manages, so we're now going up into the final lap of the race. Ben Hitz leads now from Florian Becker, and Thomas Pieper has fallen down into P3 at the moment. So that would mean he would have lost one position there, but look at how close the fight for P1 still is. Ben Hitz can't seem to really get away from those guys.
They're smashing the curbs though at those chicanes. They're smashing the curbs, absolutely. Well, they're trying to absolutely take all of the curb to try and maximize the track width and to try and take the shortest line through the corner. But you could just hear the cars bottoming out on those curbs. Here we go then, Ben Hitz having to defend. Florian Beck is going to go and try and make that move around the outside. Not quite able to make it work. Tricky section to try and do so. Maybe now down the inside of this corner. Not quite able to do so though. Kev, I think, is this Ben Hitz's race to lose now?
Yeah, of course. That's now Pieper maybe trying it through the final chicane there. He's on the outside, which of course turns to the inside, but it's not quite enough there for Thomas Pieper. So Ben Hitz will be winning the second heat of our first server here in Sandown, ahead of Florian Becker and Thomas Pieper, who makes up the final positions on the podium, of course. Julien Rambo, not a happy camper. They're down into P11. I think we saw him go pretty wide once, and there is very slow through this left-hander, so we might see where his pace deficit at the moment might be coming from there. And this P11, of course, means that he will start in last position for the feature race, which will be starting in just a second. Which is, of course, it might be a chance to gain on some people who who crash out at turn 1 or whatever. But yeah, not a great position to start at, of course.
Of course not. Here we have then, if it's working, the grid on screen for you right now. I don't know. I don't think it's actually working, is it? It's not.
Sadly, not for me. But we can go. I can just talk you through it as Dan tries to fix SDK, which has been absolutely beautiful those last couple of weeks. So, oh, we're still in the warm-up, so I can't actually see as well. Okay, never mind that. Of course, the drivers have 1 minute of a quick warm-up session ahead of the feature race. Just so everything can be, they can set up everything, and that we also usually have the time to talk about the races. But if SDK is acting up, we are of course a bit, let's say, our time is taken away
Limited.
a bit by, limited.
There we go. Grid is on.
There we go. Grid is on, so Jonas Wanner, the winner of the first heat, the absolutely dominant winner of the first heat, is starting from pole position ahead of Ben Hitz, Martin Stadtmann, Florian Becker, Hugo Sasse, Thomas Pieper, Marco Zeiler, Benjamin Moser, Pascal Haas, Nils Langeveld, Christian Meyer, Florian Stadtmann, Jens Fiedler, Patrick Henn, Christoph Fabigan, Henrik Augustin, Bastian Perez, Matthias Lebel, Stefano Pellegrino, Markus Deutsch, Stefan Capella, Julian Rambo, and Marius Zug starts from the back of the grid.
There we go. Quickly, the results from Heat Race 2. Ben Hitz P1, Florian Becker P2, Thomas Piba P3. That is your top 3 there. But we're already going into the race 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's green, green, green here for the feature race in server 1. And a very good start for Ben Hitz there from second place. Jonas Wanner, not the start he had in the Heat races, Kevin.
No, definitely not. Hitz has come off the line perfectly there. Absolute brilliant reaction time there by Ben Hitz, and he has overtaken Jonas Wanner on the way to the first turn. But Jonas Wanner, with the pace that he had in that first heat race, it will still be interesting to see how long, or if at all, Ben Hitz can keep Jonas Wanner behind. But another driver who is trying to make his mark, Thomas Pieper now, attacking Jonas Wanner. Wanner going very far to the inside, trying to defend that corner and not give too much slipstream, of course, to Thomas Pieper. But now they're all going through that second chicane there. Oh, you can just hear, whoa, Ben Hitz,
That's wide.
He's gone wide. So he's dropped down 2 positions, maybe losing another one to Martin Stadtmann there. And he does so. So he's down to P4 and lost another position, maybe.
I think he is going to lose it to Florian Becker with the better run out of the corner, out of the chicane. And he just has to try and keep that car alongside him. Looking a little bit further back now is Hugo Zasse as well. Trying to lurk maybe down the inside of Ben Hitz as well if he doesn't get a good run. Towing up behind them. Still side by side though, Ben Hitz not giving this one up without a fight. Touched off the track. But they're still side by side. It goes down the inside of the right hand, and there is the touch. And that is Florian Becker off the track. Hugo Sasse can't take advantage of that because he's on the track as well now. Niels Langeveld has come through together with Benjamin Moser. That was carnage at the first chicane.
And the drivers really trying everything to get past their opponents. But
maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much. We got 2 cars who have already been in the pit lane. No, even a couple more cars than that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars who already come to pit lane, which of course doesn't have to be a negative thing. Marius Zug, that car looks not great.
Not great at all. Into the wall he went, and that right rear is done.
The rear, yeah, that's done. That's Marius Zug's race done. There, yeah, he gets the tow back to pit lane. And that's the race over for Marius Zug. Unfortunately there.
Yeah.
And as we see another car in the pit lane, so that's Florian Stadtmann at the moment. Also Hugo Sasse is now in pit lane. He's also getting towed. So a lot of action happening there. Thomas Pieper up into P1. really taking all those curbs.
Well, you know what the thing is, Kevin? I think that now the gap has created itself at the front of the field a little bit. 7/10 is the gap. He can now try and work on it, try and increase that gap. Thomas People, we know he's quick. Martin Stadtmann, we know he's quick as well. But a little bit further back though, Jonas Varner will now be hunting to try and come back through the field.
Yeah, definitely. We know he's got the pace. He showed it very much so in that first heat race. Not quite getting all of the performance maybe out at the moment out of himself and out of the car as they are coming down to the start-finish straight. Vanna, of course, always won with the interesting strategies, let's say like that. So I'm interested to see what he might be trying to get past the drivers in front of him if the normal overtaking is not enough.
Yeah, side by side now, a little bit further back. Ben Hitz though, trying to overtake Martin Stadtmann. That has allowed Jonas Varner to get closer to them though, but the man at the front of the field, Thomas Piba, is taking advantage of this. This is running away with it at the moment because they're fighting behind. Look at this then, Jonas Varner. He's going to go for that move now.
He's still got a long straight ahead of him, so enough time to really get that slipstream. Of course, ahead Martin Stadtmann also giving a bit of slipstream to Ben Hitz. Look how close Vanna now is to that car of Ben Hitz, but he hasn't tried anything. So he's waiting. He's waiting for his opportunity to strike, or maybe he is saving a little bit of fuel. You never know with our drivers. They always have some kind of plan. That just coming out of left field. So maybe Vanna just trying to stay behind those guys now that he's lost a couple of positions there anyways.
Oh, touch on the straight! Martin Stadtmann together with Jonas Varner coming together on the straight. Well, I've never seen anything like it because it's a straight. It's a straight, Kevin.
Very weird. That looked very, very weird. I don't know what happened there, and now Vanna is going for the overtake maybe. He's on the outside for the next corner, but Stadtmann is still a bit quicker. And that, of course, has helped Ben Hitz, who is now
but let's be honest, Kevin, here. That was a big, or that was a really, really, really weird accident there.
Yeah, I want to say really stupid accident. I don't know what there was. That was one of the parts of the track where there's really enough space, and I don't know how they came together there. Vanna was pretty far on the right side and then turned over to the left, but I don't know. I don't want to make a judgment now on just seeing it just this quickly. But with Vanna's reaction, who is now going maybe past Stadtmann again at the front. Looks like it. He is ahead of Stadtmann again. Going through the final chicane.
Can he now keep at is the question. Thomas Piba with the fastest lap time of this race. 1:16.050 for Thomas Piba. Showing once again that if he's out in front of the field, he has mega pace. Martin Stadtmann though now lost the position to Jonas Varner. And let's now see if Jonas Varner can keep ahead or maybe try and chase down Ben Hitz ahead of him. Ben Hitz himself is trying to chase down Thomas Piba. Still 11 minutes to go in a pit stop for these guys. The person leading the way after the pit stops, or the lead person who was already pitted, this man, Christoph Pabigan.
Yeah, but he's down in P11, so he won't be at the moment probably much of a threat. If we look at the pit lane times, maybe that's a good indicator. It's 29 seconds for most of the drivers, and Fabigan is now 31 seconds behind the leader Thomas Piba. So if Piba pits now, he should be comfortably out ahead of Christoph Fabigan. So there's the gap is still there. Even after the pit stops ahead. Again, a purple time for Thomas Piba. He's really putting his foot down to the floor.
15.952, but look at that. Niels Langeveld's going even faster.
But he's still down in P7 and 8 seconds behind the leader, Thomas Piba. So he will do a couple more of those laps if he wants to gain 1 or 2 more positions there.
Well, for sure.
Let's see if he's capable of that.
I think at least he will want to gain the positions that are now closely ahead of him. Of course, hasn't made that pit stop yet. I do think if Niels Langeveld's pits, it is going to be close though with Fabian. Although the longer he can stay out, the bigger of a gap he's probably going to create to him. Niels Langeveld, we know that he's quick in real life, and we know that he's quick in the sim, but just had to take his time. Now you can see he's settled in. You can hear all the bottoms of the car scraping along the curbs, but just taking his time, and now finally on top of that car, and look how quick he is, pushing almost now at the end of this lap Marco Zeila through the corners.
Yeah, he's come very close in that last lap. Now we've got a good 3-way fight there for P5, Benjamin Moser, Marco Zeila, Niels Langeveld, who has posted just, as we talked about it, just right now, another purple lap, 1:15.734. So he's very quick at the moment. He's found his groove in the Hyundai on Sandown, and now he's probably going to try and get a couple more positions.
Sadly for him,
as
though,
you said, those two, ahead of him, he should get them, I think, pretty soon.
well, sadly for him, though, this is the last race we do at Sandown with the TCR, so he did take his time to get used to the TCRs. Of course, he's just home after a busy racing season, hasn't been alive racing too much, as far as I know. Is still busy, though, with the Mazda MX-5 Cup, still fighting for the championship there, so a lot of things to think about. Down the inside he goes down, not waiting a long time with him.
Oh,
with it, and a little bit of a touch though, forced Marco Zeila a little bit wide. A little bit of a bump and run there from Niels Langeveld, as we like to call it in NASCAR. But, well, Benjamin Moser next up on the road for him. Already up 4 positions, but Niels Langeveld, a little bit of a bump and run there, Kev. But I think fair to say that he's quicker.
Yeah, he's probably quicker, but still, I think it was a bit late. We will, the stewards will, of course, look into that if it's being reported. But yeah, again, I don't want to make any judgments on just a quick look at what's happening. It looked a bit late from the first viewing of the incident, but we will see what comes of it. But of course, Langeveld very fast at the moment. Fastest lap at this during this time has gone back to Jonas Wanner with the 1:15.68. So the next driver with the purple laps. Thomas Pieper in the lead, very doing a great job there, 3 seconds ahead of P2, so he's really stretching out that lead at the moment. And let's see where everything will be after the pit stop cycle, which I guess should be happening any lap now. Let's see if the first cars are coming in, while I think that's Lebelt is a bit, that was very wide, I'd say. And I see a car in the back. Yeah, that was Lebelt. Oh, he's down in P18, so maybe he was just trying to avoid annoying the drivers on track. As we see Ben Hitz really going over that curb. Back to Niels Langeveld. So that is Moser, who has caught up to Stadtmann, and Langeveld, who has caught up to Moser. So we've got another freeway fight really brewing in here. Very close fighting there at the moment. Hendrik Augustin now with the fastest lap of the race. So it's all is happening right now at the moment.
Well, this is the last race here of server 1, so the drivers have to kind of make it count. A new fastest lap for Hendrik Augustin, a 1:15.6. So showing once again that he still has some pace in his locker. Niels Langeveld, not fastest last time round, of course, now is involved in traffic a little bit. But you can just hear the underside of the car scraping along the curb, smashing the curb, and that can't be good for the cars, can it?
Yeah, Ben Hitz now, the first of the front runners to come into pit lane. Let's see, and all of these guys are coming in as well. So, what was that? Stadtmann, Moser, Langeveld.
They are early. Jonas Vana still going around, as is Thomas Piva and Marco Tyler. So they're quite early though, making that pit stop in that lap already.
They are. Yeah, let's see. Hendrik Augustin, another fastest lap there, 1:15.5. So he's really putting the hammer down. Hendrik Augustin has already been to pit lane, so every position that he's gaining now will be a position for him. He's back up into P7, just behind Benjamin Moser now. So he's gained again a lot of positions there through the pit stop cycle, and also completely in the race. He's up 9 positions from the start. So great job there at the moment by Hendrik Augustin, who had a very early first pit stop. And now our leaders, Thomas Bieber, Jonas Vana, are coming into the pit lane. That will be interesting to see. Where will they come out? Hitz, Stadtmann, they were not too far behind. Hitz only 27 seconds.
That's not going to be close enough. You need around 24, 23 seconds in order to be side by side.
Exiting the pits. Tyler also exiting the pits. Vana is ahead of Pieper, so Vana with the shorter pit stop. And Ben Hitz, he's staying in P3 at the moment. Jonas Vana has jumped Thomas Pieper in the pit lane.
Wow.
And is back up into P1.
Wow, that is amazing from Jonas Vana. Like you said, this man always coming through with the alternative strategies. He's done it once again. Now, the only thing that he needs to watch out for is that he doesn't run out of fuel. Because I have a feeling he's short-stopped.
I don't know. I have the feeling that Pieper has made an exceptionally long stop, because Pieper has got a 32-second pit lane time, which is a lot slower than all of the guys behind him at the moment. So maybe he overfueled, or maybe he took a bit of repairs. I don't know. But that pit stop was way too long for this late in the race. So he must have, I don't know, maybe he's done a mistake with the fuel load, or he's repaired some damage. But that was too long, and that's what cost him the lead of this race.
Well, it's not over yet though. Thomas Pieper now catching up to the back of Jonas Vana. Not a given that Jonas Vana is going to win this, because we know that Thomas Pieper is really, really quick in these cars.
Yeah, he's shown it. He's made he's made a nice gap before, and chat is now saying thank you, Christoph. Tom had troubles with the refueling. He put too much fuel in. So yeah, my guess was it seems like it was right. He's overfueled the car, and it's cost him the lead of the race. So that must hurt even more when it's a mistake that could have been avoided, or let's say should have been avoided.
It's not over yet though for Thomas Pieper. Like I said, almost within that second. Now he is within that second, within that slipstream range. We're looking at a battle for P6, P7, P8, and P4. P6, P7, P8, and P4. Yes, indeed. And P5, of course, in that. I was wondering. I missed the number.
Pieper's gone down. Pieper's gone down in position. So he's lost another one there. He must have made a mistake. I don't know what's happening there. He was very close to Vanna. And now he's behind Hitz. So P3 at the moment there.
White flag.
For Thomas Pieper.
White flag for this man, Jonas Vana. Not a lot of pressure now for Jonas Vana, so he can just cruise to the victory now. Not take too much risk.
No, he's not gonna take any risks now. He's got that over 1 second gap to the guys behind him, who are fighting at the moment anyway. So Vana is just cruising now to the finish line. That's what I'm guessing, at least. He shouldn't be taking too much risks now. Behind him, Hitz and Pieper is still heated. It's still close there between those two guys. As we can see, Hitz now closing up the inside line for the next corner. And Pieper on the outside. He's got a good run. He is side by side with Hitz. But can he make it around the outside? He is at least going for it. He's done a great job there to keep it side by side with Hitz. But now Hitz is coming in a bit far out. Again, it's a difficult place to overtake, I think, on the around the outside there. So Pieper put himself in a very dangerous position. But Jonas Warner, he is the man. He's fallen back very far, but he's climbed all the way back up to P1, and he wins the first feature race of the night ahead of Ben Hitz and Thomas Pieper.
What a drive from Jonas Warner. A personal best lap for Martin Stadtmann. Niels Langeveld up to P5 in the end, up 5 positions. Bastian Perez up 7, Christoph Fabian up 6, and Svidla also up 5. Also up 5 is Stefano Pellegrino, but the man who is up the most positions is Stefan Capella, up 8 positions in this race.
He's done a great job.
Yeah, definitely a really good job there by Stefan Capella.
Flashing the lights for the stream there. And now all the drivers are starting to come over the finishing line, just waiting on one more man, Matthias Lebelt in P17, who will be crossing the line soon. And then we also have, once he's done that, we should have the final results there for you. iRacing can't display them until every driver has crossed the finishing line. Or maybe SDK can't show it until every driver has crossed the finishing line. Darius done it. 1:18.6 for the final lap of the race, and there are the results for the feature race.
Go over them if you want.
Jonas Warner is not the winner.
Well,
have we missed something?
Where is Jonas
Like
Warner?
a penalty or anything?
But where is he? He's none of the.
He's not at the top.
As he's dropped all the way down. Where
He's
is
in
Jonas Warner?
P16.
Okay then.
So the feature results are saying it's P16. We can't tell you at the moment, or I can't. I don't know if you know what's happened there.
No, I don't. I don't either. It's that's a really weird one. But that must have been a penalty, and usually this is right. Usually this is right. So we're gonna take it at the moment. We have to find out what has happened there. Well,
but as of now, SDK or at least is telling us that Ben Hitz. Let me just quickly look at the results in iRacing. Yeah, they are the same. They have put Ben Hitz as the winner, so that must mean there is a penalty for Jonas Warner. And the winner now is Ben Hitz. He's done it.
Oh, there we go. Ben Hitz with the victory. He's done it. Jonas Warner, not a victory here. We thought it was so, but no victory.
He's crossed the line at first, definitely. But
a penalty there denied him.
A penalty for Jonas Warner puts him down into P16. But let's start at the top. Ben Hitz now wins the feature race ahead of Thomas Pieper, and Martin Stadtmann completes the podium. Niels Langeveld has come up into P4, passing Benjamin Moser. We've looked at that fight for a long time. Benjamin Moser, we might add as well, has won the silver category, of course. You can see the number 22 next to Benjamin Moser is in silver, so that it's a little indicator for you guys to see where the silver drivers are. So still a great job by Benjamin Moser coming in P5. Marco Zeiler in P6 ahead of Jens Fiedler in P7, Christoph Fabian P8, Bastian Perez in P9 and Pascal Haas in P10. Florian Stadtmann, P11 overall, P2 in the silver category, and Stefan Capella, the man with the most positions gained, gets P3 in the silver category and P12 overall. Stefano Pellegrino, P13, Florian Becker, P14, Max Deutsch, P15. Jonas Warner across the line in P1, but is now P16, thanks to a penalty, which we have to find out what that was. Matthias Lebelt in P17, Hendrik Augustin P18, Julien Rambaud in P19, Christian Meyer in P20, P21 goes to Hugo Sasse, P22 to Marius Zug, and P23 to Patrick Henn.
Well then, That was server 1. I am aware that there's a little bit of an issue with Kevin, his microphone. I don't know what it is. He sounds normal to me. But if I listen to the stream, yes, indeed, he does sound a bit echoey. I don't know what that's about. We're going to try and fix that during the break. Don't go anywhere, because the draw of server 1 is of server 2 is now going on. And we'll be right back with you once that is done.
So, we are back in the second server of the W12 Sprint Series. As you can see, we are back in a very, I'd say pretty part of America. We are at the Virginia International Raceway, and we are racing with the GT4 class. And with me, still here, is my good friend and colleague Dan.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I can confirm now, I've had a listen to it. Kevin, his sound is fixed. Thank you, everyone, for telling us that. That was very helpful. And as you can see, where are we at right now, Kevin?
Yeah, Virginia International Raceway, 5.2 kilometers. We're driving on the full course configuration in the GT4 class. So it is a class in the second server. Okay, we only have 2 classes in the second server. So in round 3, it was bound to be the second time that a class will be driven again. So the GT4s and the GT3s as well will have, or they do have, penalty weights allocated in a way according to the results of the last time we drove the GT4s, which was back in the very first week of the W12 Sprint Series. So we've got 5 drivers here tonight that are locked to their cars, which are Jonas Wanner and Robert Heger, which are locked to the Mercedes AMG GT4. We've got Hendrik Augustin, who is locked to the Aston Martin GT4. And we've got Julien Rambeau and Benedikt Hitz, who are locked to the BMW M4 GT4. If I'm correct, everybody is in the correct car. If you are not driving with the car that you're locked to, then you will be disqualified from the round. There is no getting around that. So good to see that everybody has stuck to their own car. Coming up to the penalty weights. So again, the penalty weights are always made according to the result of the round before, and the penalty weights are as follows. The Mercedes AMG GT4 will have plus 30 kilograms tonight. So it will be quite a lot heavier. It's maximum penalty weight that you can get. So that just shows how well the Mercedes has done last time around. The Aston Martin GT4 has got 23 kilograms of weight added to it, which is not as much as 30, of course, but it's still quite a lot weight put on the car. And the third car with a penalty weight is the BMW M4 GT4, which will have 20 kilograms added to its normal weight. McLaren, like the one we are looking at right now, and Porsche Cayman, they don't have any penalty weights at all, so they should be a bit better tonight. Of course, we know that the classes that iRacing provide, they aren't always that equal. So that's the way we want to help, like the smaller cars as well, the slower cars as well, to fight with the big boys like the Mercedes, which I think last time round was very much the dominant car in that race, in that first GT4 race.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think, Kev, if we look at the field right now, and we're going to take a lap on board as well around this track with this man Jens Fiedler, who's struggling to go around the track right now, off onto the grass, is taking a shortcut here. So he's actually very professionally taking a shortcut. This is gaining him time, and this is actually what no one thought of. But no, just to be clear here, he was off track. Of course, that isn't faster in any way. But I think it's time for you now, Kevin, to lead us around this beautiful Virginia Raceway.
Yeah, so start, finish straight, coming up to the first corner. Yeah, we're now on board with the BMW. So first corner, horseshoe. A very interesting almost hairpin bend there. Two apexes you really got to hit there. Coming now up to turns 2 and 3, it's the NASCAR bend left-hander, and not quite 90 degrees I'd say, but still a very slow left-hander. Coming into another much slower chicane, left hook, and so left, right, and now coming up to the snake turns 5A, 6 and 6A as iRacing calls them. Not quite flat out, still a very fast section there. Coming up to a second very long straight and still very snaky. Coming up turns 7, turns 8 and turns 9. As we can hear, a bit of slowing down there through turn 9. Now turn 10, the south bend, very fast left-hander. And coming up to another, pretty much hairpin, turn 12, 11 and 12, oak tree, named by the tree that you just saw. Fiedler Pass there on the was on the right side of the car. Coming down to a very, very long back straight. A lot of time to catch up to the guys ahead with the slipstream, with whatever might help you. Coming up to turns 14 and 14A, the roller coaster. It's going up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster. I think I've said that right. And Fiedler loses it a bit there through turn 15. Coming back on track now, we see turn 16 not at full pace now. Of course, turn 16 and 17. And now 17A, the hog pen. And coming back to the start-finish straight to finish off this lap of Virginia International Raceway.
It's quite a long track here, isn't it, Kevin, in these GT4 cars? And once again, around 2 minutes this lap time. It was, that's a spinner ahead of him. But he has kept it pointing the right direction. But what I wanted to say is that it's, once again, quite a long lap here around Virginia Raceway in these GT4s. I've been here with the MX-5s last week. But well, that was around the 2 minute 15 to 2 minute 20 lap time, so actually not too much slower, although we can say that these GT4 cars do have a lot more power and a lot more downforce.
Yeah, of course, but still it's a 1:55.8 for our leader Marco Zahler at the moment, so still a very, very long lap, almost 2 minutes, which is it's quite a lot. So the gaps will of course be bigger because you have more mistakes or more corners to be slower at than the other guys around you. So that's why we shouldn't be too discouraged by the big gaps that we see at the moment. P10 already 1.8 seconds behind. But yeah, it's a long lap, so more time also for the drivers to lose a tenth or two through a corner, and that's of course makes up the bigger gaps. As we now go into the qualifying session of this second server of the night, which is of course an open qualifying session then, which also provides a bit of a different spectacle than I'd say we have usually in server 1.
Yeah, it's a lot different. We're looking on board with Jens Fiedler still, and what are we expecting? Of course, in server 1 you have 1 lap. It all has to happen in that 1 lap. If you get enough track in that 1 lap, you're done. You're starting from the back of the field. So more room for the drivers now, although 15 minutes with a 2 minute lap time almost. That means that you're not going to get more than 7 laps in if you are quick. So yeah, still a lot of pressure on these laps right now, as we can see all the drivers out on track together.
Yeah, that's the beauty of open qualifying, of course. The drivers all staying on track, or that they are all on track together. The thing is, I think what a lot of drivers maybe have missed now is the fact that, of course, it is a very long lap, as we just talked about. So that means there's way more space for each of the drivers, of course, than last time round on what was it? I've forgotten the name of the track we drove last time in the GT4s, but it doesn't really matter. It's a long track, so a lot more space for the drivers in this open qualifying session. So maybe one of the drivers that if they have waited a couple of seconds at the start of this qualifying session, they might get a bit more space now for their flying laps and will not be bothered with traffic as much. So maybe the drivers not, as you can see already, the gaps opening up between the drivers. Of course, they're driving a bit slower to, of course, open up those gaps as well, and a couple of drivers also taking the scenic route. But yeah, I think this is a track where the open qualifying isn't as much of a pain as it might be on other tracks. Like last week in the GT3s in Detroit, we saw a lot of guys having trouble in the open qualifying.
Across the line. Oh no, never mind. That was not across the line. I thought it was going to come across the line there, Kevin. But well,
Yeah,
Kevin, now I have the time
yeah.
because, of course, there's a lot to tell about this track. But now I have the time. I'm going to get this opportunity to ask you this question. What would you do? Would you want to have slipstream, or would you say I'm going to go for a lap on my own here? What would you do?
I think at the beginning, like getting that banker lap in, would probably be smarter to just do it in free air. Of course, if you're one of the guys, it also, like, I'd say it depends on where you know you are in the table. If you are one of the top guys, you might want to have that slipstream because you know it's going to be about small margins, and that little bit of slipstream might help you. But if you're one of the midfield guys or the lower guys in the field, then I think it would be smart to wait a bit at the beginning, get a banker lap in, just set a lap time so you know you're somewhere on the field, not all the way down at the bottom of the pack. And then maybe, you know, once you've got that, try and get behind someone and get that and get the slipstream. Of course, the guys at the top, they will need to get every 10th and every 100th of a second that they can get, and so they will be looking for that slipstream. We have a very long back straight on Virginia International that we were on right now with Jens Fiedler, and that you can see in the track map here. So there will be a couple of tenths, I even think, that could be gained with slipstream there. But
Look at
that's
that,
more
though.
of a thing for the top drivers.
154.3. That time wasn't even set in practice, Kevin. What a lap time that is from Hendrik Augustin on top. Purple sector 1. Listen at this. Purple sector 1. Purple sector 2. Purple sector 3. Purple sector 4. A green sector 5. And a purple sector 6. What a drive from Hendrik Augustin. And he has delivered, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's delivered massively, of course. Let's not forget, I'm trying to add this as much as I can, if I remember to do it. The Aston Martin Hendrik Augustin is driving, that one has got a penalty weight at the moment. So let's not forget that this car is heavier than it should be. Let's say it like that. It's only the second biggest penalty weight, but the car with the biggest penalty weight, Jonas Wanner now with the Mercedes, plus 30 kilograms for him, and he still manages to get it up to P2, only 9/10 behind Hendrik Augustin at the moment. But those two guys absolutely giving it everything in their penalized cars, so it just shows how good of a driver, or how good of drivers, those two guys are really.
And I think it's a lot of yours too. It's as well just everyone in this league, Kevin. Let's be honest, is up to the level of where you want to be. I was watching the race. I think when was it? I think it was on Thursday, during or on Wednesday. No, it was on Wednesday. I think, if I'm correct. And Mirko was in it as well, and all the top guys from the Oslo Sim races were in it, the Gazix team were in it. And those are all guys, all off in the background there is the Lego Aston Martin. But all the top guys were in there, and all those top guys are in here this evening as well. And I think that's just a testament to how strong this field is. And the times that you see here, you can go out and practice. And I don't think these guys have the optimal track temperature and optimal track right now, but you can put the optimal track in and I still don't think that you would beat the pole position lap time that these guys put down. Or I think still most of you wouldn't beat the lap times that these guys put down. Not to disrespect anyone who's watching right now, but it's just to say these guys are so fast. It's just inhuman. That's how fast they are.
Yeah, it's also a great showing of just their pure talent, because of course, as Hendrik Augustin leaves the track there, great timing there, Hendrik. Thank you very much for that. But those guys, they don't have practice. They've got that little 25 or how was it?
15 minutes of practice do they have in the server?
Only 15 minutes, of course. They've got that 15 minutes practice session, and that's it. That's all they get. They don't know the track beforehand. They don't know the cars beforehand that they are going to drive. So of course they are used to the cars most of the time. GT4 and GT3, of course, very popular classes in iRacing. But still, the combination, they don't have that much practice, and they still put out those absolutely amazing laps. So that really shows how good of a talent most of those drivers are, and I think the W12 has always really, how you say, it's if you have talent, you will achieve something in the W12. That's what I'm trying to say, you know. You don't get that much practice, so the naturally quick drivers are the ones that will profit, or that will get to the top here, and we just see it every time with drivers like Hendrik, Jonas, that are just always, no matter what car they get, no matter what track they are on, they are just always providing the goods, and they are always driving fast, and I love to see that. I love to see that, really.
I do think we have to look at a change for that, Kevin, because it's getting boring now. Mirko Bortolotti, the man who created it all, now has won all 3 of the seasons that have gone by. A naturally very talented driver, as all those drivers, but he is usually one of the quickest, and I think that's getting boring. So we should look at a different. No, I'm joking, of course. Mirko Bortolotti, like we know, is one of those who benefits from it, and he's not the only one, but he's usually the one who gets the grip or to grips with the track and car combo, usually the quickest.
Yeah, but not always, I'd say. I mean, of course, he's an absolutely talented driver, but we have seen also in this season again, time and time again, where the other drivers were just maybe a bit faster. He always does great with his strategies as well. I don't think like he's always the fastest, but he gets there with quick thinking during the races. And really optimizing strategy and everything, and that's why he always still reaches most of the time the top, or at least like the top 2 positions, even when he's not the top 2 fastest drivers on the track at the moment, which I don't think he has been every time this season round, but he's always been up there. So maybe that's something the other drivers will have to work on, or I guess, because
yeah,
and
I can agree on that, and I can absolutely agree on what you said there. Also coming across the line now, Marco Tyler, can he improve? He's purple in sector 5 and green in sector 6. Up into P3 he goes. There we go. Driver's getting to grips now, but still that 154.320 from Hendrik Augustin that he set all the way at the beginning of the qualifying session, still holding on strong there. So that seems to be an absolutely mighty lap from Hendrik Augustin, although improving now as well is Thomas Piba. Hendrik Augustin himself improving as well. A purple sector 5 right now, into sector 6 he is. Up the hill we go, and down the start finish straight across the line. Let's see what Hendrik Augustin can put in across the line. Is it an improvement? It is! There we go! A 154.168. Once again, showing the drivers how it's done. 4 tenths quicker now than Jonas Vana, and 5.5 tenths quicker than Marco Seiler.
Yeah, the gaps have closed down a bit from the beginning of the qualifying session, of course. So now top 8 drivers all within a second at the moment, which is really good. Especially considering, like, if you take Augustine away from Vanna, so from P2 to P8, it's only 5 tenths anymore. So it's a really close battle we've got there for the top 10 positions at the moment.
Can I tell you something, Kevin?
Yes, always.
I don't want to jinx it here, but this man, purple sector 1, a purple sector 2 in the lap he is on right now, will stay on board with the man so you can see how it's done, so you can replicate that in practice. But Hendrik Augustin, a little bit wide there into Oak Tree to try and get that good exit onto the straight. But purple sector 1, purple sector 2, he is on it right now. Could he put the field maybe on a second, because that's the pace he's on right now. He could put Jonas Vanna on a second, although improving right now is Marco Tyler. Once again up to P2 he goes. Almost 4 tenths behind him though, but improving in sector 1 and 2, sector 3 and 4. Not so much sector 5 though, which he's in right now. That's a little bit deep from Hendrik Augustin, maybe wanting a little bit too much from that. And in sector 5 also not improving. So it has to all come from sector 1 and 2. And maybe sector 5, that's wide onto the grass, and that's not going to help him. And he's going to crash into the pit lane. Don't crash into the pit lane too fast, otherwise you will maybe be disqualified. But Hendrik Augustin on a quick lap, but couldn't finish it.
So you have jinxed it.
I did.
So
it's my fault.
Hendrik, if you are rewatching that,
it's my fault. It's my fault. I'm sorry.
Write
sorry.
him a message on Discord saying what you think about that. Yeah.
No, he should just write Mirko a message and say not to employ me anymore.
No, that would be too much. He just needs to write you down.
I'm gonna get a 25-second be quiet penalty.
25-second penalty there for Dan, for jinxing Hendrik's good lap that he was on, but I mean it's getting closer and closer at the top. I mean, Marco Zeiler owned 3 tenths away now, very fast still. Hendrik Augustin lap 154.1. That's over a second faster than the fastest time in the practice session beforehand. So the drivers are really starting to get those laps in, to get those fast laps in. Let's see Pascal Haas at the moment in P6. He hasn't improved in any sectors from what I can see, so he's probably not going to improve his lap time there.
Well, all the top from P2 to P6, they're all on the final lap right now. Thomas Pieper not improving. Pascal Haas not improving. Also not improving is Jens Fiedler. He's in the pit lane. Jonas Vanna is now the next one to come across the line from the top 3. Can he do something about that? He was purple in sector 6 the last time round. Can he do that this time round? To try and take that pole position from Hendrik Augustin. The answer is coming across the line. He cannot. He goes up into P2. But only P2 for Jonas Vanna. Marco Tyler not close enough to get up, to get over the finish line. But Kevin, there we have it. The grid for you.
Yeah, Hendrik Augustin starts this first race of 7-2 from pole position with an absolute banger of a lap, 154.168. Jonas Vanna in P2, we just saw his fastest lap there. We watched him cross the line, 2 tenths behind Hendrik Augustin. Marco Zeiler completes the top 3 in qualifying with almost 4 tenths behind Hendrik Augustin. Jens Fiedler in P4, Thomas Pieper starts from P5, Pascal Haas from P6, Florian Becker from P7, Marius Zug from P8, Chanter from P9, Ben Hitz starts in P10, Patrick Henn in P11, Benjamin Moser in P12, thank you very much. Bastian Perez in P13, Martin Stadtmann in P14, Christoph Babigan in P15, Julien Rambeau in P16, Christian Meyer starts from P17 ahead of Nils Langeveld in P18, Stefano Pellegrino in P19, Hugo Sasse starts from P20, Florian Stadtmann starts from P21 ahead of Matthias Lebelt in P22, and Gustavo Xavier in P23 rounds off the grid.
Well then, almost speed reading through that grid is our man, but Kevin, take your time, go over them from P1 to P23 because we have a whole long lap behind the pace car of Virginia Raceway. It's gonna take a while.
It's gonna take a while. It will be interesting. Maybe let's talk about something a bit more interesting there. It will be interesting to see again how the race will go. I mean, again, tactically, what can you do there? Pit lane doesn't look too long. So might be the chance for a cheeky pit strategy.
Not pitting before the safety car has gone into the pits. That's something that you don't need to do.
Yeah, that's gonna be a disqualification, I think, from now on. Jonas last time round in round 1, he's just
this man.
Yeah, that's this man in the Chiquita Mercedes. And you can hear no revs at the moment. The drivers, they are pulling the clutch, trying to save as much fuel as they can on this formation lap. So the long formation lap, the drivers will not be happy about that because, yeah, it's just burning more fuel that they very, very much need in this race. So that might be very interesting to see who can already save more fuel on this first formation lap. Vanna going very far into the front there with his Mercedes. So I love it. I just love the fact that they are really, really trying to save the last milliliter of fuel that they've got in the car, and that was it's just so brilliant to see how they are also really all of them taking it very serious. And
Look
it
at that.
should make for a good strategy.
A slinger of cars coming through the hills here at Virginia Raceway. And coming up to the left hand or to the right hander of Oak Tree now in a second. And we're already a minute and 30 seconds into this lap.
So yeah, the drivers will be complaining about the fuel. Virginia International Raceway. I mean, I never liked the track very much, to be honest, driving it, but you gotta say it's one of the more interesting American tracks, of course, because when I think of American tracks, I do have a lot of flat tracks, you know, really flat tracks in my mind, like Daytona or Charlotte or whatever.
Daytona isn't flat. If you walk up the banking, then you know what's flat.
Yeah, well, the banking, but everything else is just on a flat level. So I think Virginia International, they also call like the Nürburgring of North America, the Little Green Hell or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on that, but it does fit the description. It has no runoff area. It's just grass left, right. It's very snaky. It's very tight. It's a very tight track as well, and does have a lot of very interesting corners that the drivers have to go through. So it will be interesting to see how they manage to get through turn 1. Let's hope in a good shape. Let's hope they can all get through it in one piece. We've got a couple of fans in chat. Go Azair, go Stefano, go V10R. So the people already cheering on their drivers as we come up to the start-finish straight. The man in P1, Hendrik Augustin, of course, dictating the pace now. And we wait for him to start off this second race. And his first race in the second server, and he does so at the moment. Hendrik Augustin at the start there to Jonas Vanna. He got a better start. But Hendrik Augustin, of course, still on the inside for that first hairpin corner, but he drops down massively. And there's the contact between a couple of cars. And now Tyler goes up into P1. And Augustine down in P4 after this first turn.
Where do you go?
Good start from then.
Where do you go? Look how close it is. They're side by side still. This is Hendrik Augustin and Florian Becker. Down the inside goes Hendrik Augustin, or around the outside, excuse me, of Pascal Haas. That is, oh, and the touch there. Hopefully he can keep out of the way. Oh.
Always come back on track, very, ooh, that didn't look good. That was a big crash and another few contacts there. Hendrik Augustin now very much down in last place there. And we've had a couple of contacts The guys at the front, of course, very much profiting from that. The top three now, up, and away, 2 McLarens, 1 Mercedes. And this man, Hendrik Augustin, is now in second to last place. Pascal Haas has towed himself back to pit lane. Marco Zeiler is now the leader of this race here at Virginia International Raceway.
Well, Jonas Warner in P2 will be looking now to try and overtake Marco Zeiler. Thomas Biba and Benjamin Moser also in the McLaren. So the McLaren, one of the best cars it seems like here in this first race. Of course, there will be if I'm correct, a reversed grid in race 2.
That's very much correct. The top 18 drivers will get reversed. So at the moment, Vanna now back into P1, has overtaken Marco Zeiler again and has done a purple lap. He's, as you can see, back into P1. Yeah, the top 18 drivers. So Vanna will start from P18 at the moment, and Stefano Pellegrino at the moment in P18 would start from the very front there. But the drivers are still shuffling around. Gustavo Xavier dropped down a couple of positions there, I think, and he's out. He's towed himself back to pit lane. So we already got 4 drivers that have towed themselves to pit lane or are sitting in pit lane right now and are waiting. Yeah, Becker is coming back out of the pit lane. So 3 drivers, I think, that are pretty much out of the race at the moment.
On board then with Julien Rambo. What can he do in the BMW? The BMW GT4. Oh, you can see the car almost jumps up the hill there. And it's almost 4 tires off the ground. Understeer now in this left-hander for Julien. And now into Oak Tree. There's not a lot of tracks, Kevin. Oh, down the inside. Who's that then?
Now he's going down the inside of him.
Beautiful cutback. But what I wanted to say, there's not a lot of tracks, Kevin, where you find an oak tree in the middle of it.
Yeah, well, that must have stood there for a very, very long time, because I don't think they would allow stuff like that nowadays, having a tree right in the middle of the track, more or less. But it's in a pretty slow corner, so I don't think the danger is too big of hitting it, as Marius Zug is going back past Julien Rambo, and now Rambo is again fighting back against Marius Zug. It's just going back and forth, and now Zug is going a bit wide, and Hugo Sasse tried to use it, but he's taking him out. He's taking Marius Zug out there. He tried to be opportunistic there, Hugo Sasse, and it backfired massively.
Wow. Well, let's just say I did not expect that to happen. Benjamin Moser, though, this man posted the fastest lap time of the race. Last time round at 155.23. And in P4 right now, looking to gain positions. These McLarens, though, working together. Benjamin Moser, Thomas Piba, Marco Zeiler, all these ASR guys. And then there's one Jonas Warner
at the top with the very, I think it now is a perfect time to point it out. That Mercedes has got plus 30 kilograms compared to the McLaren's plus 0 kilograms of weight added to it. So it just shows either how great of a driver Jonas Warner is, or how unbelievably dominant that Mercedes is. I think it's more of the first thing round this time, really, because Jonas is always one of our top drivers, one of our top guys, and I think this is a perfect example of him showing why he's one of our top drivers, because he's carrying that unbelievably heavy car into first place, and he's holding it there as well.
Look at this man there, Niels Langeveld in the Lego Aston Martin. In the chow we have Winston Eckel. What a hit, he says. Winston Eckel, he's alive, ladies and gentlemen. He's come back alive. It's finally time to watch some racing on the Platinum Racing League channel. Welcome, Winston, to the stream. But yeah, what a hit that was. I did not expect it to end that way, to be completely honest there. Benjamin Moser, once again with the fastest lap of 154.895. Niels Langeveld though, can he defend from the man in Pizza and Julien Rambo? The question is, can he defend? The answer is, at the moment, he's trying to do so, and he does.
Yeah, but he's trying the switchback, Julian, now. And it didn't look that bad at the beginning, but he's lost out a bit there on exit to Niels. Now he's getting back in behind the Aston Martin of Niels Langeveld. He's looking around that Lego Aston. He's trying to find the gap where he could maybe go past or something.
Is there a gap going to be appearing? That's the question. Is as we look now at the man who has the fastest lap. Could he be a threat, you think, to Jonas Varner this early on?
Well, it's a bit
or
early.
this late on, I have to say.
I mean, he's posting the fastest laps at the moment. Brilliant camera shot there from Oaktree. He is posting the fastest laps at the moment, but he's got clean air ahead of him. The other guys, they are very close to each other, and they're maybe, you know, hindering themselves or each other from posting the fastest lap times at the moment. Benjamin doesn't have that problem. He can just go flat out at the moment and just try and get closer and closer to the guys ahead of him. And he will need to push hard because the drivers ahead of him, they are not slow at all. They are also driving in the low 55s they were in the last lap. So they are not making it easy for Benjamin here.
No, not at all. Let's take a look at how this track is on board with the fastest man on track right now. Benjamin Moser 155.6 last time around. Thomas Piba actually a little bit quicker than him, and actually Jonas Varner as well. So losing a 10th there, but
yeah,
let's
lost a bit.
Like we say, Unstrekker says yes. Thanks, Dan. Finally, some time to watch the W12. Yes, of course. We have very strong from Tila, Piba, and Moser, says Stefan Capella. Yes, they're like a force, these three from ASR at the front of the field. Look at them, all in the McLaren. And Unstrekker says the ASR guys are pushing Varna. Of course they are. Varna, the only one not from the ASR crew. They want, and let me tell you this one more time, they want, and I'm sure about it, an ASR 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
and
that would be, of course, brilliant.
I have a feeling my co-commentator would like that as well.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Not only the ASR guys at the top, but me as a little also McLaren fanboy. Seeing the three McLarens up top would be absolutely amazing. But our ASR drivers are driving very fast. But I mean, as a showing of my that I'm not one-sided in this thing, I can't see all of them getting past Jonas at the moment. He's doing such a great job with this Mercedes, really pushing through. There.
He's done it.
Oh,
he's deep!
He's
deep!
There.
Marco Seiler has gone for it, but has gone out wide. And that now has allowed Benjamin Moser through, and a little bit too late of braking there. Jonas Varner got what he wanted. Gap to P2 for him, now back up to 8 tenths.
Two drivers in the pit lane. Benjamin Moser also coming in.
I think we're going to see everyone in.
All of them, everybody.
We're going to see everyone in, I expect, until P13.
Yeah, pretty much everybody on the same pit strategy who hadn't.
Off the track against Fiedler.
Fiedler. That's very wide there through the last corner. And now drivers coming out of the pit lane once again. Seiler, yeah, Varner, Piva, Moser, Seiler coming out as they have come into the pit lane.
No time lost, no time gained, I think, there between Piva and Varner.
It looks pretty much the same.
Oh, Kev. Take a look at the chat. Stefan Capella says Kev is our ASR boy, with a heart emoji behind it.
Just a little bit. But as you know, I'm trying to call this fair down the middle. And as I was saying before, as much as I'd love to see an ASR 2-3, I can't see it. I can't at the moment. Varner is just too fast at the moment. He's doing absolute bits in that Mercedes. I am absolutely amazed how fast he's going. But
new fastest lap.
New fastest lap. Florian Becker in the Porsche Cayman. Also no weight penalty for the Porsche there as well. So I'm kind of surprised we don't see more Porsches Of course, a couple of drivers are locked to their cars, but not all of them. So they could have picked, we could have seen a couple more Porsches in the field. As with Chris Fabigan, who is right now in a P8, and the leading Porsche at the moment, of course.
Coming down the back straight there, and we have Stadtmann behind, or ahead of him is ahead of Ben Hitz. Behind him is Ben Hitz. He's going to try and overtake in the black BMW is Ben Hitz on the outside right now. The inside for the first corner, the outside for the second part. Don't go too deep, Ben. We've seen it being done a couple of times now. He keeps it there. Still side by side down, though. Now down the hill. There we go. And that is position done.
That was a great job there by Ben Hitz. Great driving there by both of the drivers, keeping it side by side through this very, very tricky section, which, as you said, we have seen drivers go off. Just recently, Marco Zeiler there. Virginia while braking on the dirty line. Yeah, it can be treacherous, this track. It can very, very be treacherous. You don't want to go too far off track or pretty much any centimeter of track, because of course the grass on the outside will just pull you out, and then it's pretty much race over, or at least a couple of positions lost there for you.
Well, also gaining a position while you were talking about that was this man, Le Belge Stefano Pellegrino, has been overtaken by him. And he's immediately up the back of the guys ahead of him, Florian Stadtmann, who is in a battle with of gaining the most positions. So if you could put him down a position and get in position himself, he would have gained 11, and Florian Stadtmann would have gained 9. So this is a battle of who's gained the most positions during this race. Lebelto looking really, really quick here, Kevin.
He's doing a great job. I mean, last lap, of course, was must have been with the pit lane, of course, but he's got a 1:56.69 as his best lap at the moment, which is a bit quicker than Florian Stadtmann, but not by much. So he will have a lot of work if he wants to get past Florian in front of him right now. See a lot of purple sectors popping up with Marco Zeiler. He's really pushing at the moment. In P4, we know, of course, that he is very, very fast. He has been in P2 before his ill-fated attempt at overtaking Jonas Wanner at the top. 155.1 for Jonas Wanner at the top now. And there is the purple 154.0. That is an amazing lap there by Marco Zeiler, and that would have put him on pole position in the qualifying session, actually.
Wow, wow, wow. What a lap that was from this man. But he was 1 second quicker than Jonas Wanner at the front of the field. Sadly for him, though. Jonas Wanner now in the last lap. So if he does gain a second again, he will only close the gap down to about 3.3 seconds. Not any more than that. Jonas Wanner under pressure from Thomas Pieper. If Thomas Pieper can keep this close until they get through Oak 3. And then maybe do get into the slipstream after Oak 3, because that's a really long straight. Then he might have a chance, though, to try and snatch this one away from Jonas Wanner.
It's all about the exit, as you said. It's a very, very long straight, but look, he's so far behind Jonas Wanner. He won't, I don't see him again getting close enough to Wanner to really merit a good overtake, at least. He's got 8/10 now at the start of the straight, and it would need to be a very, very long straight to make up that gap and to go for an overtake for P1. So I think Pieper will do the smart thing. He will probably just stick to his P2. He has gained 3 positions as well, so he's gone up quite a bit as well. And he will just take that P2, take the points that come with it, and yeah, watch Jonas Wanner as he drags that very, very heavy Mercedes across the finishing line and into P1. Jonas Wanner wins the first race of Server 2 in the Mercedes ahead of Thomas Pieper. Now we got, yeah, not a 1, 2, 3, but a 2, 3, 4 for the ASR guys in the McLarens. It's Pieper, Moser, Zeiler coming in P2, P3, and P4 ahead of Ben Hitz in P5 and Martin Stadtmann in P6. Now we're looking at Stefano Pellegrino, who is also very close to Florian Stadtmann, but not quite close enough to take the position away from him. He comes in P12, Florian Stadtmann in P11. Nils Langeveld behind them in P13, ahead of Marius Zug in P14 and Chanter in P15. Christian Meyer in P16, ahead of Matthias Lebelt in P17. And now the leader, or the pole position driver for our reverse grid race will be Jens Fiedler, because he has of course come home in position 18, and that means it's P1 for the reverse grid.
Well, what I want to point out on is an historic moment here, Kevin, because if the software is correct, the man who finished third in that race, Benny Moser, Benjamin as we like to call him, a silver driver, so is silver overall on the podium. Let's take a look at the result from the first race. There we have it. Like you could see, our silver driver, Benjamin Moser, on the podium overall.
Yeah, he's really extending his lead at the top of the silver table, coming in P3 overall in this first race in the second server. So an amazing job there by Benjamin Moser, really has to be pointed out. Also our silver drivers really pushing the overall guys to their limits. Jonas Wanner, of course, the winner of this first race ahead of Thomas Pieber. Marco Seiler will be very unhappy with that. He tried to get past Jonas Wanner. He could have. I think he had the pace to get that P1, but it wasn't quite enough. He's gone off with the overtake, and then it was pretty much over from there. Ben Hitz comes in P5 ahead of Martin Stadtmann in P6, Bastian Perez in P7 ahead of Christoph Fabigan in P8. Florian Becker comes home in P9 ahead of Julien Rambeau in P10. Florian Stadtmann finished in P11 ahead of Stefano Pellegrino in P12. Nils Langeveld comes home in P13 ahead of Marius Zug in P14. Chanter in P15 ahead of Christian Meyer in P16. Matthias Lebelt finished P17, and contrary to what I said before, Pascal Haas came home in P18, which means he will start the reverse grid race from P1. And he's done good in the qualifying session, so he might have a chance to do a good job there. But Jens Fiedler was in P18, and it feels that I'm at a racetrack with my microphone, so it's still not good. I had microphone problems for the whole night, so I don't know.
I don't know what's going on there.
What's going on? But yeah, Jens Fiedler, I saw him coming into the pit lane at the end of the race, so I don't know. Maybe that cost him P18, and with that the lead in this reverse grid race. So a very bad decision there, I think, by Jens Fiedler, who is now down to P19, because that's where he finished now. And yeah, so reverse grid race, the P18 from the first race starts from P1. I've talked about it now enough. Pascal Haas starts from P1 ahead of Matthias Lebelt in P2. Christian Meyer starts from P3. Chanter starts from P4. Marius Zug from P5. Nils Langeveld starts from P6. Stefano Pellegrino from P7. Florian Stadtmann starts from P8 ahead of Julien Rambeau from P9. Florian Becker starts from P10, Christoph Fabigan from P11, Bastian Perez starts in P12, Martin Stadtmann in P13, Ben Hitz in P14, Marco Zeiler starts from P15, ahead of Benjamin Moser, P16, Thomas Pieber, P2 in the first race, starts from P17, and the winner of our first race, Jonas Wanner, starts of course from P18. And then behind them, we've got the same order as we had the finishing order in the first race. Jens Fiedler, P19, Patrick Henn, P20, Hugo Sasse, P21, Hendrik Augustin, P22. So Hendrik also will have quite a lot of catching up to do. He's got the pace, we know that, but that's of course not the greatest position to start from in this reverse grid race. And Gustavo Xavier starts from P23. We already got a prediction in chat. Winston Langeveld will win this race. So Winston says Langeveld will win this race, of course.
I was like, who's Winston Langeveld? I want to know that guy.
So if you have any predictions for the second race, put them in chat. And you will win, if you're correct, the respect of me and Dan.
Of course.
Which is the most, the biggest prize you can win, I think.
I'm gonna put money on the line here. If you predict the top 3 correctly now, just put your votes in. If you do so, you're gonna get 10 euros sent by me via PayPal. So send me your PayPal over Discord if you get it correct. So get in those top 3s. I want to get it 1 enter, 2 enter, and 3 enter, and names behind that for the top 3. Let us know. You can let us know until lap 1 is finished. After that, the votes will, or the answers will close. And you will not be able to get them in. You can, of course, send them in, but you will not receive the money for it anymore.
So, guys, quickly get your votes in. That is, we haven't talked about this, so that is a completely spontaneous thing there by Dan. So
yeah,
it's your chance to win 10 euros, I guess. So yeah, get your votes in quickly.
Oh, now we're coming to the end. It's your what to call, Kev.
So now Pascal Haas, as the leader, is allowed to dictate the pace. Safety car is off, and it's his turn to start the race, the second race here at Virginia International Raceway, and there are going green there. Pascal Haas, great start there by the ASR driver. He's ahead of the pack, and he's going into
the crash in the background.
There's a big one at the back. What has happened there? A lot of drivers shuffling in the order. That is Hugo Sasse off the track.
Oh, coming back on track is the Mercedes. That wasn't a good rejoin.
In that. So Stefan, it doesn't look good for your prediction there. Thomas Pieper now down in P19, and yeah, that doesn't look great for him at the moment. Nils Langeveld in P3, so Winston, he's doing his best to make your prediction come true. But you also got Pieper in P3, so yeah, that's not looking too great at the moment, but the race is still, it's still a long time away from the checkered flag, so anything might still happen. Don't be discouraged there by what has happened on the track. Langeveld now on the hunt for P2 for Marius Zug.
Well then, we're coming to the end of lap 1. The vote is going to close in a second. Winston Eckel and Stefan Capella, of course, have their votes already in. That top 3 not looking too good because Thomas Pieper is at the moment down in P19. Not looking too great, although long race ahead, so he can still catch up. It's the top 3 in my heart. Of course, Stefan, of course, you're one of these, the ASR guys, so of course that's the top 3 of your heart. Dropping down now though, Zila, Vana, they're all dropping down. This is what happened. Off the track is Marco Zila, and Jonas Vana as well off the track. He is now got on the way again, but that was not what you want to see there after lap 1. A lot of crashes happening, but this man, the number 1 from Winston Eckel, still keeping it clean.
Yeah, but he will have quite a lot to do. If I'm looking at the gaps, they are increasing quite a bit. It's already 2.4 seconds for Pascal Haas at the top, 2.5 seconds, and that gap is getting ever bigger because, of course, Zug and Langeveld, they are fighting at the moment. They are fighting for that P2 position, and one guy at the top, of course, profiting a lot a lot by that. So they will have to get their foot down, maybe work together a bit if they want to catch Pascal at the moment, because he seems relatively quick at the right now.
Yeah, they're already gaining though. Look, the gap already down to 1.8 from Marius Zoek, down to 2.3 now to Niels Langeveld. That gap was 2.7, although Marius Zoek now looks a little bit quicker than Niels Langeveld now they get into the later stages of this race. Chris Meyer though, we haven't seen him up into the top 3 yet. And that is contact from behind together with, I think, Lebelt it was in the Porsche. And that is not what you want to see. Yeah, that was Lebelt, I think. If we take a look, yeah, there is. You can see the livery. Lebelt that was, touching him on the back. And I was just about to say, hasn't been in the top 5 yet. And it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case this time round either.
Yeah.
Unlucky there for Christian Meyer there, I have to say.
Yeah, he's got the hit there from behind. Will definitely, I think, be looked into after the race.
Just looked a bit clumsy, I think. Yeah, just looked a bit clumsy, I think. Could have been easily avoided by both of them. I think Christian Meyer not having anything to do with that, though, just being driven into the back of, but could have easily been avoided, I think. And I think Lebelt will know that himself as well. He will know that he was wrong there, and I think, knowing all the drivers here, he will give him a sorry, he will tell him that he was wrong, and then they will just move on like nothing has happened.
Yeah, of course. I mean, things happen, you know. And Marius Zug at the moment, really putting the hammer down, 154.9. Fastest lap of the race by him in the last lap, so he's really trying everything to gain on Pascal Haas. There, Pascal Haas with the fastest first sector now, purple sector for him. So they are really giving it their all. The drivers here at the top trying to stay at the top as well. Langeveld has dropped a bit off by, from Marius Zug, I'd say. Hendrik Augustin, 15 positions up already, so he managed to get away from
there have been some pit stops. Incident. There have been some pit stops, Kevin, so don't get too happy yet, because there have been some pit stops behind him from Jonas Warner, Bestin Perez, Thomas Pieper, Julian Rambo, Christian Meyer, Marco Zeiler, Jens Fiedler, Stefano Pellegrino, Jean Terre, and Gustavo Xavier have all pitted already.
Have all pitted already, but also all of them drivers who were more or less in some kind of incident. So I still think I'm gonna stick by it. I think Hendrik has done a good job there of getting up the order. We will of course see how everything plays out. It's still 12 minutes to go in this reverse grid race, so still everything to play for here. And now Hendrik Augustin comes into the pit lane, so right as we talked about it, he jumps in. Marius Zug with another fastest lap of the race, 154.706. And Niels Langeveld behind him has also done a great job, 154.78. So those two guys really starting to reel Pascal Haas in at the moment. He's only done a 55.0, so he's lost about 3/10 to the guys behind him at the second, at the moment.
It depends, I think, what you call reel in, because the thing is, 3/10 is not reeling in. It takes you 3 laps to reel in a second to get within 3/10 of Haas, and it is only about 8 or 9 laps here this race. So over a lap this long, 3/10 is not reeling someone in. I think, Kevin, it's quicker than someone, but not a lot. I think you have to be aiming about 6 to 7/10 if you really want to reel someone in around a lap this long.
Well, you know, you've got to keep the psychological aspect in mind. I mean, Pascal, I know, is very strong with that. He doesn't get nervous or anything like that pretty much ever. But you know, I mean, if you as the driver ahead, you see that gap getting smaller and smaller. You know that the guy behind is a very fast driver, so you know, it might be, you know, just a little bit
Oh
trying
yeah,
to get
tell
the
me
drivers into
something.
a mistake, as Langeveld had just right behind Marius Zug right there. He's gone a bit deep into that corner, and he's down now 3 seconds from Pascal Haas, who is jumping into the pit lane as we speak.
Our leader into the pit lane, and Niels Langeveld follows him in. But this man, Marius Zug, now continuing for what I guess will be one more lap. But like you said, trying to pressurize someone with getting the gap down. Ask Winston about that. Because I'm a man who's really easily affected by that. If I see the gap come down, I'm going to start to push. I'm going to maybe start to overdrive the car. And I'm going to lose even more time. So, yeah, that's something on mine that I always try to keep out of mind. But, yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. And it's exactly what you said, the psychological... difficult language. The psychological aspect, got it eventually, is a big thing as well.
Of course, that's like... We're still all humans driving those cars around the track. So... we make mistakes, and of course, if we're not completely focused, or if we are, you know, getting nervous, as we talked about, then you're prone to making mistakes. You will do them probably more often, and that's why all of those things, they are very, very important in the big picture of racing. Of course, the tenths that you're gaining are one thing, but you know, the psychological aspect of those tenths that you're gaining, that shouldn't be underestimated at all. But we will see how this one plays out. Marius Zug, of course, should still be, still has his pit stop left. And the thing that oh no, he's just probably. So all of the drivers, the top 5 drivers, Zug, Fabian, Moser, Stadtmann, and Hen, have not been in the pit lane yet. Marius Zug now comes into the pit lane. So all of them will probably drop down a couple of places, but it will be interesting to see where will Pascal Haas leave, or where will he be when Marius Zug leaves the pit lane. We will see that very shortly. Marius Zug already stopped at his pit stop box, and now he gets going again. So Marius Zug is being overtaken by Pascal Haas. Pascal Haas back into P1, and he's managed to get quite a gap for himself. 2.7 seconds at the moment.
Hendrik Augustin, though, look at this man, up 70 positions in the top 5 right now. Coming all the way from P22 on the grid. What a drive this has been from Hendrik Augustin. Really consistent, really quick, really good strategy. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a great job. I thought so before as well. Just as he did. I mean, 2.7 seconds, where did he get that from? Pascal Haas really now really opened up the gap to Marius Zug. So a bit more relaxing for him, I guess, now. As we come down to the final 7 minutes of this reverse grid race. Winston says Vanna back in the points. That is true. Jonas Vanna back in P7. And also, you gotta say, Thomas Pieber, after that first lap crash. Oh, and he might be going for another one there. Vanna against Fabian. But also, Thomas Pieber back into P12. So those two guys back up very far, back up the grid very far. Jonas Vanna done a great job also, plus 11 positions there for him. So great job there by our winner of the first race, of course. And Hendrik Augustin up in P5, up 17 positions. But, you know, he's one of those guys. I think he, Vanna, Mirko, those are the guys you just know they will always get somewhere higher up the field. You got that feeling with those guys. They're just so fast. They're so consistent. They're always thereabouts, even when they start down in P22.
Yeah, and of course Mirko's not the only one who has that, like you said. A lot of different guys have that. Niels Langeveld in P4 right now under pressure from Hendrik Augustin. Can he get past to try and gain another one and maybe get up into the podium positions? What a drive that would be from Hendrik Augustin. Coming through from 22nd on the grid. A little bit of a mistake there, a little bit wide. But seems like he has the run now on Niels Langeveld. Can he make that one stick? Can he maybe go down the inside? Not quite. We're getting to the twisty section now. Not a part where you do want to try and make a move, because usually that will end up in disaster.
It usually does. Now we're coming up to the oak tree. And back with our leader, Pascal Haas. 2.4 seconds is the gap. So he's got a good cushion there behind him. Bastien Perez now trying to get past the Gazix Aston of Hugo Sasse. Also very close there behind him is Julien Rambaud. The two V10R cars there. Trying to gain another position there. Florian Stadtmann now. Looking up the outside, no, inside it was of Thomas Pieber. But can't make the move stick. Thomas Pieber now up into P9, so he's done a great job of coming back up the pack. Pascal Asmaus-Zug with his personal fastest lap, 1:54.5. And Florian Stadtmann now being going for the overtake, I'm sorry, on Martin Stadtmann. I'm not sure which car is which now. I'm a bit confused.
Martin is in the gas
did
accident.
the overtake on Florian Stadtmann, so now it's happened to me as well.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
is going down.
Last week it was me, this week it was you. It's difficult between those Stadtmanns, have to say, especially if they're that close to each other. Although one is in the silver and one is in the gold class, so yeah. An inter-family battle there, I think that we can call that.
Yeah.
So Hendrik Augustin now still behind Niels Langeveld. Niels Langeveld though, up 2 positions, not too bad from him either. Defending now the inside of Hendrik Augustin. Can he make that pass stick? Not quite.
Now Hendrik is very close, and now we've got a very long straight coming up, so he can really get that slipstream look. He's already being pushed, or yeah, it was not enough space really there. I don't think that it didn't seem like Niels was closing the door there. I felt that that door was already pretty much closed, but nonetheless, Hendrik Augustin still goes past him after driving like what seemed a kilometer on the grass. He still goes past, and Niels Langeveld up into P4, plus 18 positions there for Hendrik Augustin. Marius Zug now with, as you can see, a purple lap, 1:53.9. He's done it.
What a lap.
He's lowered it down to the 53s, which is absolutely brilliant there. Brilliant stuff there by Marius Zug. He's really trying to close that gap to Pascal Haas, but it was just so big after the pit stops.
It's gonna be close with completing another lap, you know.
Yeah, I didn't see a flag. I didn't see the flagman, so I'm not quite sure if we are on the last lap already or not. We will find out the next time we come around. But Marius, he's just too far back. It was just, the gap was just too big after the pit stops.
If he has another lap, maybe Kevin, maybe then he can do it. But I don't think, like you say, he's able to do it this lap. Not at all.
Yeah, this lap definitely not. If Pascal keeps cool, if he just keeps his pace up, I think his pace would be enough to get him over the line in P1.
Well, last lap was 1.5 slower for Pascal Haas. So
of course, but a absolutely brilliant lap by Marius Zug. Let's see if he can also replicate the 53.9.
He's improving
So
in sector 2 and 3, you know.
You never know. We will see. We will see. I mean, he is still gaining. I mean, it's still 1.3 seconds, but you know, getting close to the guy ahead of you is one thing. Getting past the guy ahead of you is another thing. So he might be able to close the gap down, but he still needs to get past him in the end. And Pascal is not gonna make it easy for him. So that should be another lap, I think.
Yeah.
Here's Barney the flagman. He's waving the white flag. So that is now the final lap of the race. There, Pascal Haas, Marius Zug. Marius Zug 153.8. Unbelievable stuff there by Marius. He is going for that victory. He's been down 2.5 seconds after the pit stops, and now he might be going for it. He might be going for that P1 then.
Oh, a little bit deep there was Pascal Haas. He feels the pressure from Marius Zug. Can he keep that one off for one more lap? The last lap run right now of this whole round 3 here from the W12 series. And the gap is 4/10 only now. It's coming down to the last lap of race 2 here in session 2.
He might actually do it. He might actually do it, the madman. He's so quick at the moment. 3/10 only now between Pascal Haas and Marius Zug. We've got an unbelievable last lap battle brewing here on Virginia International Raceway in the G. It's Porsche against Aston Martin. Look how close Marius Zug now is to the back of that Austrian sim racers Porsche. Marius Zug. Now he's got a long straight ahead of him, just 3/10 behind Pascal Haas. Everything to play for here right now.
Everything to play for Pascal Haas though. Keeps the inside line. I think he's just a little bit too far back, Kevin. He's gaining. Not quite gaining enough though. And now into the twisty section of the roller coaster. Not quite able to go up the inside. A few more corners left now for Pascal Haas to come through and take victory. Can Marius Zug do anything about it? I don't think he can.
Doesn't look like it.
Up the hill one more time now for Pascal Haas in the slipstream. No.
To the finishing line, but it's not gonna be enough. But it's gonna be very close. Look at Eggman, 1.3.
Wow.
Hundredths of a second. Unbelievable stuff there. 1.3 tenths of a second. I'm sorry, of course. What a final lap there in the GT4s at Virginia International Raceway. Who would have thought that Marius Zug would get that close in the end? Unbelievable.
Wow, what a race from Pascal Haas, Marius Zug. What a race from him as well. Also from this man, Hendrik Augustin. What a race. You can see up 18 positions. Wow, just wow.
Yeah, that's what can you say about that? Plus 18 positions. That man started in P22 and he's gone all the way up to P4 on a tight and twisty track like this one is. So it's an absolutely amazing performance by Hendrik Augustin. And at the end, he was only 6.5 seconds behind our leader, Pascal Haas, our winner, Pascal Haas. So, wow, what a performance there. What a performance by all of our drivers tonight. We've got in the top 10, we've got a couple of drivers who've gone up a lot of places. So Hendrik Augustin plus 18. Benjamin Moser has gone up 11 positions. Thomas Pieper has gone up 11 positions. Pieper, of course, was all the way at the back of the grid more or less after that lap turn 1 incident. And he's finished the race in P6, so also great performance there by him. Great pace there by Thomas Pieper, Christoph Fabigan in P7, and Jens Fiedler. Now we're looking, he's the final man to cross the finishing line before we can take a proper look at the results of this reversed grid race.
Well then, let's take a look at those results. What a race that was. And here we have him. Results for you on screen right now. Here we go then. Pascal Haas is the victor here in the last race of this evening. Marius Zug in P2, P3 for Florian Becker, Hendrik Augustin in P4, Benjamin Moser P5, Thomas Pieper P6, Florian Stadtmann P7, Ben Hitz P8, P9, Martin Stadtmann, Julian Rambo in P10, Niels Langeveld in P11. Dropped down quite a bit though. I don't think we expected that. Marco Zeiler in P12, Christoph Fabigan in P13, Christian Maya P14, P15 Jens Fiedler, 16 Patrick Hen, Maus Lebelt in P17, Jonas Warner P18, 19 Bastian Perez, and 20th Hugo Zasse, 21st Stefano Pellegrino, Chanterre P22, and Gustavo Xavier P23. Well then,
So I'd say let's not waste any time and let's get the winner of our reverse grid race.
Yeah.
And why not both? Let's do it like that.
indeed, why not both? We have, at the moment, our man Pascal Haas in the commentary booth. Pascal, welcome.
Hi. Welcome.
Well, first of all, Pascal, how are you?
I'm fine. I hope you too.
Yeah.
I'm a bit sweaty right now, but it's okay.
Well, Pascal, you're not the only one in the commentary booth because alongside you, and he has left the door open, so I'm gonna ask him to close that real quick. But he has he has won the silver class and on the podium overall. So 2 times that has been made history here this evening. 2 times a silver driver on the podium. Florian Becker is in the commentary booth as well. Florian, welcome.
Hi everyone.
Well, Florian, how are you?
I'm good, but there was a bit of a scruffy night.
Yeah, well, at some point, Pascal, we're going to start with you. At some point, it looked like Marius had to run down the back straight, down that long back straight here at Virginia Raceway. But yeah, just tell us, how did you feel that last lap? Because he was gaining.
Yeah, Marius, of course, was gaining the last 3 rounds. I knew it before the boxes stopped that he was way faster than me. And he was, in the last round before I pitted, he was quite close to the slipstream. That's why I decided to undercut, that he doesn't get the slipstream at all. And my pit entry was quite defense, I would say. And I didn't rewatch it at the moment, but I don't get it why Marius just got in the back of me like 3 seconds or so.
Yeah.
I think this was the key. When he was like, after the pit stop, he was doing like 53s high, and I was doing 54s middle. I would say like 1 more lap and he would get me. Also, always in the S's, in the chicane, he always gained 3/10 or so on me. And yeah, I just finished it on the safe side, so I didn't overpush or something. I knew that it's hard to overtake on this track, but yeah, at the end it was everything fine, and I won the race so far. So.
Well, we could get that mystery sorted right now. Marius is also already in the waiting room, so why not pull him inside and ask him what happened there in the pit stops that he lost?
Yeah, would be interesting.
That much.
Gonna make
So now P2 from the race is also with us. Marius, welcome in the commentary booth with us. It's getting a bit crowded. So tell us what happened. Skull pitted a lap earlier than you, but after the pit stops, it seemed like you've lost quite a bit of time. So did something happen in the pit lane? Did you overfuel or what happened there?
I think, to be honest, I didn't practice the pit stop at all, so the pit entry, and that was the bad thing. I think there I lost a lot of time. And yeah, apart from that, I think it's been a fairly clean second race.
Yeah, you've been absolutely flying, especially after the pit stop. Just fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. So how was that last lap from your perspective? Did you think you would get that close? Did you feel like you could get that overtake done and maybe take the victory in the final lap?
I mean, it would have been kind of nice to go back to back in the feature race as I did last week in Detroit. But to be honest, after the pit stop, it was all done for me. I think from that point on, like going out of the pits and seeing I'm 3 seconds back, I was just trying to get him in the rhythm, and then in the end, I think made up quite some ground pretty quick, or quicker than expected. But yeah, I think at the end of the lap, like the last third after the main straight, after the back straight, it's pretty difficult to overtake. So that's why I just took home P2.
yeah, also taking the safe bet there. But yeah, amazing pace there from you. And one I won't want to keep waiting for much longer is our P3 from the reverse grid, Florian Becker, who has made up a great number of positions, plus 7 positions there for Florian. How was that reverse grid for you, or how was the evening?
Yeah, in general, pace was really good in TCR, and a bit of an unfortunate coming together with Ben Hitz. Yeah, just happened that way. Could have been a much better result than GT4. I need to apologize to everyone who got caught up in that small carnage. I don't know. I lost the car. I had in the main race, I mean, the first race, I had a good first couple of corners. I gained like 3, 4 positions, and then on cold tires, and in that right-hand turn on the fast section, I just lost the car, and that I just fucked it up. So anyone who got involved in that, I'm really sorry. And then in the second race, on the opening lap, I just saw the field in front of me bunching up, and I just decided to pit and try to have a running clean air, which was good. And then, yeah, I just came out in P3. I had jumped most of the cars by the time they made the pit stop, and then I knew I was like clear, and yeah, it's obviously a satisfying end to the night.
Yeah, P3 and also the victory in the silver class. So two very important things there, of course.
Yeah, it's nice. But if you fucked up the first race like that, it's like no consolation.
Yeah, I guess you're right there. Yeah, well then I guess thank you to everybody. Thank you to Pascal. Thank you, Florian, for a great race, for a great second race especially. Very interesting from start to finish, but the whole night was great to look at. Marius has already left us already, but in this case, thank you to all 3 of you for your time, and let's hope to see you next week again. I would love to.
Of course.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
So that was the top 3 drivers from our reverse grid race. It's been a great one. It's been a very good one. A lot of different strategies. Love to hear the fact that Pascal was going for the undercuts to try and get to take away the slipstream from Mario. So all of this thinking that is just going on in the moment, the ideas of the drivers that they have to have in the moment. That's always great to hear that our drivers are that good. Let's say it like that they can think of that on the fly, and it has worked for Pascal. He has won the reverse grid race. It's been some great racing tonight, Dan. I think what, as you have always asked me this question, now it's my turn because I'm talking at the moment.
Oh my God.
What are the 3 words that you take away from tonight?
The 3 words that I take away from tonight is Kevin, that's your game. No. Okay.
No.
I will go for this once then. It was supposed to be a you thing, but I will do it once and only once.
We'll see that. We'll see.
Because I have to think about it too hard now. I wasn't prepared for this, Kevin. You put me on the spot here. Well, I'm gonna say, close, fair fighting.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm good with that.
That's it.
That sounds great. It's been an exciting evening. Again, a lot of screaming, as we do during the W12.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll. To everybody in the chat, thank you guys very much for participating, for writing in chat. I'm sorry that none of the predictions came true. Maybe next time around, we can think of something to make that a bit more fun, I guess. I mean, 10 euros is a lot of fun.
Of course.
So let's see. Maybe we can do that. But thank you guys, everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope Dan, I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Of course I did. All the time I do.
And so I would say from my point of view, or from my side, we can wrap it up then. What do you say?
Well then, everyone, thank you once again for watching, listening, whatever you might be doing. Of course, it depends on what you're doing. You could also just throw us aside, work on your motorcycle, work on your car, and just hear us shout about the racing. That is always a thing as well. Thank you for listening, watching all around the world, wherever you may be. We hope to see you next week, where we will be. Well, you'll see that then, because the draw will be done.
Yeah, we don't know either where we will be.
Indeed. So the draw will be done 15 minutes before the stream goes live. So we don't know either. So it's always a great surprise. Always great to have you here from all the staff at the W12 series, from Kevin, from me, and from everyone who is driven tonight. Thanks for watching, and stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye bye.